All right, welcome everybody to our Thursday night team call. I'm super excited to be getting back to team calls and having everybody connect together and just learn from one another. And I'm really excited about tonight. So tonight we are going to hear from our very own Angie. She started coaching. She'll probably share some of her story herself, but she started coaching back in January as a discount coach, but really jumped in about March, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, with both feet. And she's just really led by example. She's everything she learned, she puts into action, and with that, she actually went diamond last week. So we're super proud of her, and I just wanted her to share her story, some tips and tricks and things like that. If you guys have questions at the end, you can ask her then. But I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Thanks so much. Okay, so first of all, I was trying to write like an outline of all the things I wanted to say because I can ramble on for 5 hours if somebody will let me. But I don't know that I did a good job, so it might be a little bit winging it. So if I'm rambling, just be like, hold please. So I'm Angie. Like Ashley said, I've been with Beachbody since January 5th of this year. I signed on as a discount coach so that I could participate in the ADD Obsession. And at the time, I think that I knew like I might want to do. Sophie Chambers is my upline. She's my sponsoring coach. And I think I knew that I wanted to do what she was doing, but I wasn't really able to verbalize it necessarily. So I thought, okay, I can get in. I need to lose some weight. I need to, hi husband. I need to lose some weight. I need to get in shape and feel better about myself because I was really just feeling just pretty crappy. So Sophie had kept asking me, and finally I said yes. I said, I will do this as a coach. I can get a discount on my Shakeology. So I jumped in as part of the ADD Obsession group that started January 15th. I jumped in with both feet to the workout. I started with the time nutrition. I lasted 7 days. I'll never forget that 7th day though. On that Saturday, I cried when Autumn, I think it was probably during the weekly obsession for the following week that I was watching, but I was crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, I finished 7 days of super hard workouts. Impressive. Well, then I fell off the wagon. And so, I just kind of quit participating. Sophie kept asking me what was going on and, like just really like in a really kind way saying, hey lady, what's going on? Where are you? And so I kind of hemmed and hawed again and just kind of, maybe this isn't for me. It's not the right time. But she never stopped communicating with me. So I'm going to condense my story because it's super, super long. But basically, the end of January, or February, sorry. So about a month after ADD Obsession started, so I'd been out of it for about 3 weeks, I started having really bad anxiety. And it was surrounding my job mostly. I was a clinic supervisor at a really busy specialty practice. I was a super busy, super stressful job. I was salaried, so I worked 108 hours. Not literally, but it felt like it. I have teenage boys. I have 2 teenage boys at home. I'm married. My mom lives with us. We just bought a new house last year. We had all the stuff going on, and the anxiety and kind of depression too a little bit started creeping in on me. So the end of February, it got really, really bad to the point that starting on March 1st, I was put on a 4-week leave of absence from my job and just forced to literally pause and walk away. Like I hit not rock bottom, but like mental rock bottom, if you ask me. Like that was my worst point in a long time. So I decided that I needed to do something. I decided, first of all, I made the decision that I wasn't going to sit down and die. I was not going to let that claim me. I was going to do something to help myself get better. Still at that time, I didn't know that it was the coaching portion, but I knew that, if I got some physical activity in, that I would feel a lot better. I used to be a runner. And that helped me keep the anxiety at bay for such a long time, but I had an injury and I wasn't able to continue doing that. So I jumped into the 21-day fix and decided to share that with my friends on Facebook, with the goal of just, if one person like me could find that they could get themselves out of that hole, that was worth it for me. And they didn't need to buy anything from me or join my groups. I just thought if I could share how I'm doing and how I'm fixing this, and somebody else was benefiting from it, then that was worth it. So I didn't actually do the nutrition, and I was very upfront about that. I said, I'm doing these workouts to prove to myself, number one, that I can do 21 days of workouts, and number two, to really help deal with this anxiety. I had been placed on Lexapro, and I'm not a medication person. I hate it. I'm mostly like, I don't like the responsibility of trying to remember to take it all the time. But then when it's something you have to have like that for your livelihood, it makes it even harder for me. So I thought, okay, if I can do something to help so I don't have to take the medication longer, that'll be awesome. So I started doing the 21-day fix and just the workouts, mind you, no nutrition, and started feeling better. I still had really bad days, but I let those workouts drive me and keep me from laying down all day long and staying on the couch and laying in my bed and crying. I mean, I did cry, don't get me wrong, but I used that to help me get out of that in a healthier way. So about a week before I was supposed to go back to work, I was talking to Sophie. I think we were text messaging or messaging on Facebook, and I was like, I'm really scared. I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I can go back to work. Oh, I should say somewhere in that last week of 21-day fix, I started realizing that as people are responding to me, that people were going to follow me and that I could probably be a coach. And I started talking to people about it. And it felt good to have those conversations. And it was more than just one person. It was like 5 people, which was awesome. So I'm telling Sophie, and she's like, well, Angie, have you ever thought about being a coach full time? And I was like, I can't. I said, my husband isn't behind me on that. Like I have huge income. Like that would be such a huge hit to our family. I can't do it for whatever reason. I'm scared. I don't know if that's what I really want. So she, of course, no pressure, just, that's totally cool. It's just here for you though. So we talked and I decided I would make that my goal to go into coaching full time at some time. So, I went back to work. I was in the second week of the 21-day fix extreme, following the nutrition and the exercise. I kind of like to say that that's really where I decided to jump in full force with coaching. So it's about 3 weeks into March when I had that conversation with Sophie and decided, okay, that's what my goal is. So I went back to work, long story short, which I think I'm making it really long anyways, but I went back and ended up back on another leave of absence for a week. It took me about 4 weeks, I think, of being back, or 2 weeks to be back full time. I was on half time for 2 weeks and then 2 weeks being back full time, when all of a sudden I realized I'm not okay. They'd upped my medication. I was doing the workouts. I was doing the nutrition, getting all the benefits from those things and feeling really good when I wasn't at work. So it was almost like a PTSD thing, I think, for me. I get there and it was just terrible. So on another leave of absence, and it was that week when I decided that there is no way I can go back and I have to make this work. So I set my sights on just making this my full-time gig and on helping as many people as I could. In the beginning, of course, I made the decision to quit my job by myself. My husband was not on board, and that was really scary, but I knew if I was going to save myself and be okay, that I was going to have to make a big choice and I was going to have to make it work. So I jumped in and I made it my goal to become a diamond. And I called it my diamond day. It was on my calendar for May 15th. That was, I think about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after I quit my job. I didn't make it on that day. And it got kind of discouraging to me, but I didn't stop. I knew I was going to make this work. And the reason why I wanted to do it by May 15th was so I could be recognized at Summit. So kind of, if I look back over this and see, what is it that really pushed me to getting to Diamond today? It was that stuff. That was the initial catalyst. But as to how I got here, it was kind of more calculated, I guess. I look back and I see that I actually did have a plan. I actually did put those things into use. So back when I went to my first Super Saturday in April, I started thinking about, what do I really want? Like I was right in that point where I was going to quit my job. How was I going to make this work? And I don't remember where I learned about manifestation and, really kind of setting your goals. I think I was reading Grant Cardone's book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, and he talks about writing your goals out a couple times a day. So I was doing that. And one of my goals was to go to Summit. I was like, I'm going to go to Summit. I didn't think my husband would agree with it. I didn't know if we had the money, didn't know how to do it. But I said, I'm going to go to Summit. I have to go to Summit. So that was April 9th. So I come home and we were actually driving to the store after Super Saturday. And I told my husband, and he's like, well, why don't you go? I'm like, oh, okay. So I come home and I buy my plane ticket and I buy my Summit ticket. And I still don't know exactly how this is going to work out, but I know I have to go. So I knew that Summit was, after being at Super Saturday, I mean, that was just it brings you to life to be at the live events. And that right there, I think was a big catalyst for this. So that's where I learned that if by May 15th I made Diamond, I could be recognized for it at Summit. So I set my sights on that 185%. I knew that if I set my goal high enough, that even if I fell short of it, I was still going to attain a lot. And I did. I went Emerald and I signed coaches and I started helping people. So at that time, I manifested that I was going to go to Summit. So get to Summit, anxiety comes back like crazy. It was a real nerve-wracking, awesome, but nerve-wracking time for me because I'd never done anything like that before. But I'm there, and again, I'm reminded that that I just need to act as if I already have what I want. I acted as if I was going to be at Summit, and I made it. So it was at Summit that I decided that I have to be Diamond. I actually had, I think, all but one coach, and then I had a coach that had gone Emerald, and I was waiting for one more to go Emerald. I put my mind to it. I acted as if, and it happened. I think it was like 4 days after Summit, something like that. I went Diamond. But I digress. I think I went off on a rabbit hole there for you guys. So basically, my first tip and trick is to act as if you've already got it. Act as if you're already there. One thing that I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook, but I posted a picture of myself next to Angi Belmar's race suit at Summit. And I'm like, that's me. I'm going to be an elite coach next year. Act as if. It may sound silly. People are going to look at you like you're crazy. I actually had somebody say congratulations on my post. I'm like, oh, no, not yet. Congratulate me next year. But like, act as if you've got it. Put yourself in that mindset. Think about how you're going to feel when you get there. What things you're going to do. Like, I full on this wall here, you can't see it, but it's got tons of pictures of things I want to have, experiences I want to experience, sayings and quotes that remind me of how I will feel when I get to my goals. And some of those things, a lot of these things have come to pass for me since then because I act as if, and I'm in that mindset all the time. It causes me to dream big, and I firmly believe that the bigger your dreams, the more you're going to get out of it, and nothing is off the table if you ask me. So one of the other things I manifested at the last Super Saturday, for example, was that they recognize teams at Super Saturday. They have, at least they do in Portland, they have people stand up with their teams, and there were teams of like 2, teams of 50. I said, I'm going to come with a team next time. I'm taking 4 girls to Super Saturday this Saturday with me. It's going to be so cool. Like, I didn't know how I was going to make it happen, but they're there and they're coming with me, and I'm so excited. And same with the Diamond, same with my elite race suit. Another thing is to forge relationships and know that that's going to take a lot of time. I am a very instant gratification kind of a person. I like to do things and see the results right away. I used to be a hairstylist, and it was awesome because I could take like someone's crazy hair and make it really awesome really fast. It's instant gratification, but that's not going to happen here. Maybe it will sometimes, but just in general, it won't. So forge those relationships, get to know people. I've met some of the coolest people as a result of this. I think I've told a bunch of people that are on this call. I met a lady who makes cotton candy carrots. They're in the shape of a carrot. I don't know why I think that's so cool, but like, don't just be looking for relationships that can benefit your business. Kind of approach it in a way of, what can I learn about somebody else? What kind of people are out there for me to experience and get to know? And that just makes it so much simpler. Again, know that it takes time, and keep asking people to be your friend. Keep talking to them. I have a couple people that I talked to over and over again, and they ghosted me. They didn't respond. They acted like I wasn't there. I think I got blocked by somebody who ended up responding to one of my messages one day just because I kept saying, hey, how are you? Or, hey, I noticed you did this and I really liked that. I'd like to know how you did it, or whatever. You went somewhere and I liked that too. And then they realize I'm a real person and they come around and talk to me. I actually have one coach, Nicole, who I spoke with probably since March. And she is one of my Emerald coaches today. She finally was like, let's do this. I got this. I've got some stuff happening, and I really think that this is for me. She went Emerald, and she was the Emerald coach that made me a Diamond. So keep asking, keep forging those relationships, and don't stop just because people don't want to talk back right now. It's just temporary. Be consistent. So I know that I could have gone a little bit quicker to Diamond had I been a little bit more consistent and every day done the vital behaviors like we're supposed to, or like is suggested. But I didn't, and it took me a little bit longer. Now I'm highly motivated to do those vital behaviors every day. It is so important to invite. It is so important to recognize, be a product of the product, do all the things on a consistent basis. People, that's how we build trust. That's how we get recognition. That's how people see that we're serious. That was a big thing in the beginning, is I don't think anybody really thought I was serious. But as I was consistent in doing these things, people started to realize, okay, she's not joking. Then they take notice. And my fourth tip of the day is to coach the coaches, discount coaches and otherwise, that want to be coached. Coach them well, like really pour your energy into them, and be there for the ones that don't necessarily want to right now. I was that coach that didn't necessarily want to. But if it hadn't been for Sophie and Team Fearless, because I was plugged into the group, if it hadn't been for watching them and continuing to work with them, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. So when I say coach the ones who want to be coached, my Emerald coaches, and then I have another one who's kind of getting interested right now too, they really are eager to learn, and you'll know which of your coaches are the ones that are more eager to learn than the others, and the ones, one of them just flat out told me, I want to do this. The other one wants to do it, but it was just, it's a little bit different for her. So you'll know, there's a way, you'll know who it is. I'm a firm believer of that. And coach them, like really work with them and try to figure out what it is that sets them on fire. How can you help them succeed? One of the biggest things I liked about being a supervisor was the ability to coach my team and to see them surpass me. That was something that not a lot of other supervisors or managers wanted to do. Nobody wanted their staff to surpass them. I'm like, well, why? That's the whole point. I don't want to keep 30 people underneath me who are doing the same job day in and day out and squashing their dreams. I want to help them grow and move on. That's the point of this too. Find those that want to grow and move on, raise them up, get them above you. That means that you've done your job. And the other ones that don't, let them see what's going on. Let them see the kind of support you have and try to meet them where they're at. I was on a call with one of my discount coaches today. She's not ready to be a full-time active coach or, to even really dabble that much, but she needed some help with her workout. So we're with the plan for Live 4. So I got on the call with her and we just talked about that for about 40 minutes. And that was great for her. That's what she needs right now. I make sure I tell them though that I'm there when they're ready, and please communicate with me. I have a 100% open door policy too for all my coaches and challengers and kind of just my friends and family too. If you need me, I'm there. Sometimes I tell them, I'm like, I might not be able to respond at 2 a.m, but maybe I will. So text me, that's fine, or whatever is comfortable for you. But just be available, have the open door policy, talk to them, be engaged with them. That's a really big, important thing. And set goals for yourself and for your team, even if they're just like 10-year goals. I mean, whatever it is, just set goals for yourself. And maybe you don't tell everybody at the same time. That goes to kind of knowing your coaches and knowing your audience. I don't tell everybody everything all the time, but when I feel like they're ready, I'll tell them. Or if it's something that I just can't keep in any longer, I tell them, which happens because I get excited and then blah. But yeah, so those are my 4 biggest tips and tricks. I think going forward, kind of my things that I would tell myself, knowing the inconsistency I had and still where I got, like I dove in with both feet, but I just wasn't I didn't know how to put it all together. So now a few things I'm doing to kind of keep myself organized going forward to get to my next goal is to schedule work hours. I've got a planner. It's buried here. I'd show you. But I've got a planner and it has, I think it's 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So it has all those hours in there. And I'm going in and I'm scheduling when I'm going to do my miracle morning. That's a new thing for me, doing the miracle morning every day, my affirmations, getting my reading. Affirmations and visualization are becoming a really big part of my morning. And that I'm noticing if I don't do those things, that sidelines me for quite a while. So getting those things, and I schedule that in. I schedule my workout. I schedule my shower, because otherwise I'll sit here all day long sweaty working and no one wants to see that. So then I make sure that I schedule my work hours in there. And I'm trying to do, like, for me, I have a full day. My kids go to school, I have teenagers. So I'm doing like 9 to noon, 1 to 4 kind of a thing, like blocking it up. But if I don't have that much time to devote in a day, I just make sure I can fit in those power hours, those focus hours. That's become a huge deal to me, especially in the last couple of weeks as we've been working through them together as a team. And keeping track of my work. I was all this time, I have Teamsy and I have this spreadsheet with 5,000 names on it of things I've done, but I'm really working on being more consistent. I'm using Teamsy now full time. Ashley taught me how to do some flagging of people on there, so that helps me to keep them more organized. But just keeping track of who I've asked to do what, who's doing what. My coaches, I've got them, Emerald coaches, discount coaches, active coaches. and then people that I'm talking to about coaching, just really just keeping them organized so that I know where I'm at. It's kind of like in healthcare, they say if you don't document it, you didn't do it. I firmly believe that. So I'm documenting my work. That way I can go back and look at it and see how much I've done, kind of identify any gaps where maybe I could have worked a little bit harder. Because let's be honest, we can all get lazy. I get lazy. There are some days that I could have done a little bit more. And on that note too, like number one, don't beat yourself up when you don't do more. There's probably a reason. Something Ashley says a lot that really I'm trying to hold on to is if it isn't fun, if you're not feeling it, don't do it right now. That makes all the difference because I know that I'm going to turn out more negative or maybe not negative, but not quite as positive or not as useful of information if I'm not feeling it. So I walk away and I come back later. That's the beauty of this business. If you want to do it at 2 a.m, you can. And I have. So, and then also planning. That's another thing. I did some really good planning in April. I have this big calendar up here too. I wish I could show you it all. But on this big, huge whiteboard calendar here, I'm going to be putting what posts I want to do when. I've got my focus. We've got Live 4. I've got my vacation. I've got some personal things up there. Just planning out my months in addition to my days. So that way I have a good overview. And I don't think it has to be really detailed. I think it's just kind of what works best for you guys. So yeah, I hope that that was really fast, but do you guys have any questions? I hope I went over everything correctly. It sounded a lot better in my head. They're all just staring at me.
Thank you for getting on and sharing. I loved everything you said. There's definitely some things that, I can even take towards my business and use, but I love the fact that you talked about like tracking things because I used to be really big on that and it's so true. Like even just tracking, you'll do a better job because you have to track it. And when you're not, you're like missing out on stuff. But I think I just love your excitement and everything that you have going on and has shared with us. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you guys, if you ever have any questions, like you can reach out to me anytime, or I know I'm by no means an expert on this stuff, but I'd be happy to kind of, things come up, like I drop things to Ashley all the time, just things that come up on the fly that I think of, and there'll probably be something later. I'm like, oh, I should have told them that. But yeah, anytime. I love to talk and I love to help people. And so I'm here.
Does anybody have any other questions for her? No.
Oh, I do have one more. I forgot about my 48-hour notice. So Hannah, you know what I'm talking about. So when I set one of my goals I set a goal to kind of help one of my Emerald coaches to, I don't know if she's on here. I don't want to like blast her out into the world. No, she's not even here. If she was, I would blast her out into the world. So she was really struggling to get to Emerald. She was having a really hard time, like finding the motivation, if you will. And I had watched some call, and I honestly wish I could remember who it was. I just can't. But they had said that their sponsoring coach had set a really like lofty goal, like you go Emerald by Sunday, and then you go Diamond by February 15th or something like that. So I said, okay, you got 48 hours to go Emerald. I was like, I don't know how to help you. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. So I think you need a deadline. I know she works well under pressure. She actually used to work with me at the clinic. So I gave her a 48-hour goal. She went Emerald in 60 hours. It was short after that. That works for some people. That's knowing my coaches and knowing what they can handle and what they can't handle. I think that that takes time also. If I hadn't known her quite so well, I might not have wanted to throw that goal out there. But also something else I'm learning too is that's my style. Like you're going to attract your lifers. You're going to attract people like you. And even though they're not all exactly like me, that's my style. So finding your brand as a coach and as a coach to help people lose weight and then a coach to coach a team, that's important. So like what you're willing to say and what you're not willing to say. But that is actually something I'm going to be implementing going forward with more coaches is sort of a strict deadline, not strict, but you know what I mean? Like just a deadline to give them a little bit of a push to help them feel like there's a structure to it. To that, now I have tons more things to say. Sorry. So I also am working on my new coach basics training. I've done it in units so that they can work through it at their own pace. I'm trying to put some of my supervisor skills to use and create kind of a structure for them. So those that are really ready to go can use my experience and Beachbody experience. And I'm not reinventing the wheel by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, just putting it into a way. So, cause my lifers are going to need that structure. My lifers are going to thrive there. So, yeah, I just think that that's important for my team. So figuring out what's important for your team, what things would have been important for you as a coach. I try to speak to myself as a new coach and what things would have helped me or would help or did help me, and put those into practice. And I learn something new every day. Like even today I was kind of quiet. I was just busy yesterday. And so I'm like, I'm just going to play low. I learned and I thought about some stuff and came up with some more ideas. There's always something. And always have a notebook. I'm learning this the hard way, because if you don't have a notebook, you're going to have all these great ideas and then you'll forget about them in 10 minutes if you're like me. So, okay, I think that's it.
I love it.
Thanks.
Does anybody else have any questions for her? Nah, I know everyone's probably like on holiday or break still. All right, well, no, not Caitlin. All right, well, thank you for hosting the call. I hope to see you guys all, not tomorrow, on Tuesday for our live focus hour. I'll probably do one next week during the day too. I just don't know what time, so whenever I figure it out, I will let you guys know. And if you can jump on, you can. But that went really well, I think. And I think a lot of people liked it to be able to have a working hour during the week. So those I think we decided won't be recorded. So if you want to jump on them, the best thing to do is get on them live. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.